สวัสดีครับนักเรียนทุกคนสบายดีไหมครับ In this lecture, we will be continuing our learning of the Thai consonants, but now we'll start to write actual Thai script. Okay, let us look at the learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to recognize that the Thai vowel symbols can be written before, after, above, or below the consonant or consonant cluster, including being written in a combination of positions around the consonant or consonant cluster. You should be able to read and write the 28 common consonants out of the 44 Thai consonants. So the 28 common consonants are over here. We have the 7 mid-class obstruents, these 7. We have the 7 low-class sonorants. We have the 7 low-class obstruents, as well as the 7 high-class obstruents. You should also be able to use the leading haw dummy consonant with the low-class sonorants to form what is known as pseudo-high-class sonorants. Next, you should be able to read and write the vowel symbols for the 9 long monophthongs and the 3 diphthongs. Next, you should be able to read and write the 4 compound vowels I, and ow. Next, you should be able to read and write the 4 tone marks in Thai. Next, you should be able to pronounce live syllables spelled in Thai script with the correct consonantal sound, vowel sound, and tone. And lastly, you should be able to transcribe live syllables from the Thai script into IPA and vice versa. Okay, so without further ado, let's begin. So this is Thai orthography part 2, lecture 3. So we'll finally be learning how to write Thai characters. So let us have some overview of how a word in Thai looks. So in English, we write consonants and vowels side by side from left to right, right? But in Thai, the consonant takes center stage while the vowels are written around it. So the vowel can be written to the left of the consonant, above the consonant, after the consonant, or below the consonant. Okay, so for example, if we have this consonant over here, ko kai, as the dummy consonant, and we add vowels to it, what do we have? If we add this thing here, if you add this symbol here, this is the vowel A. So ko A gives you K. Okay, if you add this symbol here to the left of ko kai, all right, we have ke. All right, ko e ke. Similarly for this, if you add this to the left of ko kai, we have ko, because this is the vowel O. Okay, we can also have vowels above the consonant. So for example, this symbol here, this one and this one, they are all vowels with the sounds given here. This is E, this is E, this is U. We can also write the vowels to the right. For example, this one, the start of A, the vowel A, or the vowel A, or the vowel O to get Ka, Ka, Ko, respectively. Okay, or we can write the vowel below, U, Ku, and Ku, Ku. Okay, apart from just writing the vowels to the left, right, on top and below the consonant, we can also have a combination of positions because some vowels use more than one symbols. So for example, the short A sound, right? We use this and this. So these two together is the A sound, and then the consonant is written in between. So this word here is ke. Ke. This is ke. All right. So these vowels, these words are made up of vowels that occupy the left and right of the consonant. All right. So this and this combined, right, is one vowel. This and this, all these combined are the vowel O. Okay. Vowels. Some vowels can also take up the top and the right. So for example, we have this thing here is the vowel So ko gives you this thing here is the diphthong u. So ko gives you ku. Okay. Lastly, the most fantastic one is the vowel that takes up 3 positions. All right. So this whole thing encircled is the diphthong ear. So this is called ear kia. This one is this whole thing here. The 3 like 1, 2, 3 here are the diphthongs Okay, so ko kia. All right. So this is how a word or syllable in Thai will look. Right. Now let's move on to the Thai consonants. So remember, in Thai we have 44 consonants, and the 44 consonants are grouped into 3 classes. We have the mid class, low class, and the high class. So a consonant belonging to the mid class is called a mid class consonant or mid consonant. Consonant belonging to a low class is a low class consonant or low consonant. And the same for the high class consonants. All right. So our 44 consonants are all grouped into 3 classes. So this is a table to list the consonants in Thai. So like the case for Sanskrit, right? We have also main group consonants in Thai and remnant consonants. So I've used color coding to tell you what classes the consonants belong to. So gray means mid class, gold means high class, and white means low class. So I want you to look at this table, right, and tell me any patterns you can observe. So for the mid class consonants, those highlighted in gray, where are they for the main group consonants? So all the mid class consonants are in column 1 for the main group consonants, right? We have ko kai, jor jan, do chada, to patak, do dek, to tau, bo bai mai, po pla, right, for the main consonants. And we have one remnant mid-class consonant here also, or ang, okay? What about the high-class consonants, the gold one? So for the main group consonants again, they are all in column 2, right? They're all in column 2. And for the remnants, we have these high-class consonants, okay? And now the rest are all just low-class consonants, right? Columns 3, 4, 5 for the main group consonants, and just those we didn't highlight for the remnant consonants. So are you able to observe any common phonetic characteristics of consonants in the same class for the mid class? So if you look at the consonantal sounds of the mid class consonants, right? What do we observe? These are all stops, right? And they're not just stops. They are all unaspirated stops. Unaspirated stops or non-aspirated stops. Okay, unaspirated stops. You see that they are not spelled with a H, right? That means that when you pronounce all these stops, there shouldn't be a puff of air hitting your hand, right? And what about the default tone? So by default tone, I mean the tone of the first part of the consonant, like the ko, the jaw, the chaw, the chaw, the yaw, blah, 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 right? All these, the tone of all these is the default tone. So what is the default tone for the mid-class consonants? The default tone is the mid tone or the common tone, right? Ko, jo, do, to, do, to, bo, po, and o. All right. So again, mid-class consonants are unaspirated stops, and the default tone is mid. What about the high-class consonants? What do we have? So we have stops, right? Ko, chaw, to, and paw. And we also have fricatives, turbulent airflow, right? For, saw, haw. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 aspirated stop sounds, as well as 1, 2, 3 fricative sounds. Okay, So stops and fricatives in phonetics, they are collectively known as obstruents. All right. What about the default tone? This is caw, caw, right? Caw, 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 caw. They are the fourth tone or the rising tone, right? Remember that the order of the tones in Thai is common tone, tone 1, tone 2, tone 3, tone 4. All right, it's not tone 1, tone 2, tone 3, tone 4, tone 5. Okay, so common tone, tone 1, tone 3, tone 4 correspond to mid, low, falling, high, and rising. Okay, the tones. So to summarize, we have obstruents comprising fricatives, the fricatives here, and aspirated stops. All right, and the default tone is tone 4. What about the low class consonants? What do we observe? Let's look at columns 3 and 4 first. What do you see for the phonetic properties? So we have caw again, right? Spelled with a H, aspirated. Chaw, we have a saw here, a fricative, fricative. We have a taw, we have a taw, we have a paw, we have a for, fricative also. Okay. We have a caw, chaw, taw, paw also. All are aspirated stops, right? What about column 5? We have the nasals, ngor. This is a glide. We have a gnaw here, gnaw and a maw, right? We also have the haw here for the low class consonants. So, as well as the liquids and glides over here. The liquids and glides, right? Yaw, raw, law, war, and another law over here. Correct. So if you compare, right, you'll find that the nasals are all in group 5, except for this one. This is a glide, right? A semi-vowel. The liquids and glides are all low-class consonants. All right. What about the obstruents, the stops and the fricatives, right? For the low class, you will find that they are the same as the high class ones. See, we have a caw, as in a KH, the k sound, right? We also have a k sound here. We have a ch sound here. We have a ch sound here also. We have a t sound here. We have a t sound here. We have a p sound. We have a p sound. We have a f sound. We have a f sound. We have a sound. We have a over here also. And lastly, we have a and we have a here. All right. Default tone, by the way, mid-tone or common tone, same as the mid-class consonants, right? So we can summarize all the consonants in this table. So the mid-class consonants, low-class consonants, and high-class consonants. These are the sounds available in those classes. So for the mid-class consonants, we observe that the stops here are not spelled with a H at all. That means that they are non-aspirated stops or unaspirated stops. Okay, when you pronounce them with a hand in front of your mouth, there shouldn't be a pop of air hitting the hand. Okay, so based on this table, you can make some sweeping generalizations, such as all unaspirated stops are mid-class consonants, and all mid-class consonants are unaspirated stops. Okay, next, the sonorants here, they are all low-class consonants, right? Next, if we look at these two rows, right, of obstruents, for the low class, we have these sounds. For the high class, we also have these sounds, right? Those with a bit of a beige color at the back are the fricatives. Those in white are the stops. Okay. So these low class consonants have the same consonantal sound as these high class consonants, but they differ in the default tone, right? The low obstruents default tone is the mid tone, but the high obstruents default tone is the rising tone, right? And the default tone for mid and low consonants is the mid tone. For the high consonants is the rising tone. Okay, so you will observe that for the default tone, right, it's like the ends of the spectrum. We have the common tone, tone 1, tone 2, tone 3, tone 4, right? The mid and low class consonants default tone is the first one of the spectrum. Like ma, ka, ka, correct? But for the high class consonants, they occupy the other end of the spectrum. Ka, cha, right? Like ka, 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 ka for the low one. Ka, 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 ka for the high class one. All right. So if we observe the number of consonants per row, right? Like in this row, in this section of the row, in this section of the row, and in this row, we will observe that in each of these, right, there are a total of 7 consonants. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? Neat sets of 7. So in the subsequent sections, we will learn the Thai consonants in these sets of 7s. Like first starting with this, followed by this, followed by this, and then lastly by this one. All right. So these 28 consonants that we're going to learn in this chapter are the most commonly used consonants. All right. So in the same table as the above, right, I've blacked out those remaining 16 rarer consonants. All right. Those are all blacked out. So let's look at what we have for each class that we're going to learn. For the mid-class consonants highlighted in gray, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 consonants. For the high-class consonants, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For the low-class sonorants, right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And lastly, for the low-class obstruents, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So let us now learn how to write the first set of consonants.